"Daddy, please don't leave me with her. She does bad things." My daughter's voice shook. Then she lifted her sleeve, and I saw the bruises I'd missed. I didn't confront anyone. I hit a camera instead. What I recorded the next morning made my blood turn to ice. "Daddy, please don't leave me with her." My daughter Lily's voice cracked on the word please, and something in my chest seized up. She was standing in her bedroom doorway at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, still in her frozen pajamas, her dark hair tangled from sleep. 7 years old. She should have been excited about pancakes or asking to watch cartoons before school. Instead, her hands were shaking. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" I kept my voice calm, even though my heart was hammering. "Amy's just helping out while I work the early shift. She's trying to—" "No." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "She does bad things when you leave." I'd heard this before, twice in the past month. Amy, my girlfriend of 6 months, had laughed it off. "She's testing boundaries, Daniel. Classic only child stuff. She's jealous of our relationship." And I'd believed her, because Amy had a psychology degree from Berkeley, because she was patient and warm around me, because she kissed Lily's forehead every night and helped with homework, and made us feel like a family again after 2 years of just barely surviving. My wife Sarah had died when Lily was 5. Aneurysm. One moment she was laughing at something on TV, the next she was gone. It had been Lily and me against the world ever since, and I'd been so grateful when Amy came into our lives. Beautiful, successful, saying all the right things about wanting to help, about understanding loss, about loving Lily like her own. "Lily, honey, we've talked about this. Amy cares about you. She just has different rules than—" Then Lily lifted her left sleeve. The bruises were shaped like fingers. 4 dark purple marks on the inside of her small arm, perfectly spaced where someone had grabbed her. Hard enough to leave welts that had turned the color of rotten plums. My stomach dropped so fast I thought I might throw up. "Who did this to you?" Lily's bottom lip trembled. "She said if I tell, you'll send me away. She said nobody believes bad kids." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "She said Mommy left because I was too much trouble, and you'll leave too if I make you choose." The room tilted. I knelt down and pulled my daughter close, feeling how small she was, how fragile her shoulders felt under my hands. She was shaking harder now, crying into my shirt, and I realized she'd been carrying this terror alone, convinced that telling me would make everything worse. "Lily, look at me." I waited until her red-rimmed eyes met mine. "Your mommy didn't leave. She died. That was never your fault, and I will never, ever leave you. Do you understand? Never." "But Amy said—" "Amy is wrong." My hands were shaking now too. "And this—" I touched her arm gently, carefully, rage building in my throat like bile. "This is not okay. Nobody gets to hurt you. Nobody." Lily hiccuped. "She said I'm lying, that you'll think I'm making it up for attention." I thought about Amy downstairs right now, probably making coffee, humming to herself, getting ready to drive Lily to school after I left for my 7:30 a.m. shift at the hospital. I was an ER nurse, 12-hour shifts, irregular hours. Amy had offered to help with Lily 6 weeks ago. "I work from home anyway," she'd said. "It's perfect. I can pick her up from school, help with homework, make sure she eats dinner." I'd been so relieved. Childcare was expensive. My parents lived 3 states away. Amy seemed like a gift. Now she seemed like a predator who'd been circling my daughter, waiting for me to leave. "Get dressed for school," I told Lily. "I'm staying home today. But your shift? I'll call in. This is more important." But I didn't stay home that day. Not exactly. Because confronting Amy would be her word against Lily's. Amy was 34, articulate, convincing. She'd explain away the bruises. Lily fell. Lily bruises easily. Lily grabbed herself during a tantrum. I'd seen it happen before, read articles about it. Abusers were experts at making victims look unstable. I needed proof. That morning after I'd called in sick and sent Amy a text saying the hospital needed me after all. Emergency, might be gone 14 hours. Sorry, babe. I drove to Best Buy. The store opened at 10 a.m. I was waiting in the parking lot at 9:47 a.m., drinking burned gas station coffee, my hands still shaking. The kid who helped me was maybe 19, with a name tag that said Dylan and the bored expression of someone working retail during a Tuesday morning shift. I told him I needed a home security camera, small, discreet, high-quality video and audio. "You doing nanny cam surveillance?" he asked. Something like that. He showed me 3 options. I bought the most expensive one, $347.99 after tax. It looked exactly like a phone charger, the kind you'd plug into an outlet and forget about. Built-in Wi-Fi. Live streaming to a phone app. Motion-activated recording that uploaded automatically to cloud storage. Totally legal for your own home, Dylan said, clearly reading my mind. Just can't use it in places where there's expectation of privacy, like bathrooms. I installed it in the living room that afternoon, in the outlet behind the couch, where Lily did her homework every day after school. The camera had a perfect angle of the coffee table, the TV, the kitchen doorway. If anything happened, I'd see it. That night, I acted normal. I kissed Amy Amy hello when she got home from running errands. I asked about her day. We had dinner. Amy had made lasagna, Lily's favorite. I watched Amy ruffle Lily's hair affectionately, watched Lily go stiff under her touch in a way I'd somehow never noticed before. After Lily went to bed, I sat on the couch next to Amy and told her I had an early shift, again tomorrow. 6 a.m. I'll be gone before you're up. She smiled and ran her fingers through my hair. No problem, babe. Lily and I will have girl time before school. You're amazing, I said. I know, she kissed me. That's why you're lucky to have me. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Amy in our bed, the bed I'd shared with Sarah that Amy had moved into 3 months ago, and stared at the ceiling, thinking about Lily's bruises, about the way she'd flinched, about all the small signs I'd missed because I'd been so desperate for help, so grateful for affection, so convinced that Amy was the answer to our problems. At 5:47 a.m., I got up, got dressed, made coffee, kissed Amy goodbye while she was still half asleep. Love you, she mumbled. I didn't answer. I left the house at 6:03 a.m., drove 2 blocks, and parked on Rosewood Avenue behind a landscaping truck. Then I opened the camera app on my phone. The living room feed loaded, empty. Morning light streaming through the curtains. I could see the kitchen doorway, the stairs leading up to the bedrooms. At 7:11 a.m., Lily came downstairs. She was wearing her school uniform, blue polo shirt, khaki pants. She looked so small on that screen. She poured herself cereal from the box we kept on the counter, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. She'd eaten it every morning since she was 4. At 7:15 a.m., Amy walked into the frame. She was wearing yoga pants and one of my t-shirts. Her hair was pulled back. She looked exactly like she did every morning. Pretty, casual, tired. Then she opened her mouth. Hurry up. Her voice was sharp, cold, nothing like the gentle tone she used around me. You're so slow. No wonder your dad's always stressed out. Having a kid like you would make anyone exhausted. Lily's spoon froze halfway to her mouth. I watched my daughter's face crumble, watched her shoulders cave inward like she was trying to make herself smaller, invisible. I'm sorry, Lily whispered. Sorry doesn't cut it. Amy crossed the living room in 3 strides and grabbed Lily's arm, the left one, the one with bruises, and yanked her toward the sink. Wash your bowl, now, and stop making that face, or I'll give you something to actually cry about. Lily was crying, quiet, hitching sobs, the kind of crying that comes from practice, from learning to cry silently so nobody hears. Amy shoved her toward the sink, pathetic. I sat in my car, 2 blocks from my house, watching through a phone screen as this woman, the woman I'd kissed goodbye 20 minutes ago, the woman who'd been sleeping in my bed, tortured my daughter. My vision went red. Every instinct screamed at me to drive home, to burst through that door, to physically remove Amy from my house and my life, to protect Lily, now, immediately. But I didn't move, because Detective Brandon Keller, who'd helped me file the police report after Sarah died and had become something of a friend afterward, had told me once over beers, evidence beats emotion. Every time in court, people lie, videos don't. So I sat there, and I watched, and I saved the video to 3 different cloud storage accounts. By 7:34 a.m., Amy had called Lily stupid twice and useless once. She'd grabbed Lily's hair when Lily couldn't find her homework folder. She'd locked Lily in the downstairs bathroom for talking back, which meant Lily had asked if she could bring her stuffed bunny to school. You're 7 years old, Amy had hissed through the bathroom door. Stop being such a baby. Your dad's gonna realize what a mistake you are eventually. I recorded all of it. When Amy finally let Lily out and drove her to school, roughly 42 minutes of psychological torture, I drove home on autopilot, parked in the driveway, and sat there staring at our house. The house where Sarah and I had brought Lily home from the hospital, where we'd celebrated birthdays and Christmases, where Sarah had died on the couch while I was upstairs giving Lily a bath, where I'd come down to find my wife already gone, her eyes open, her coffee cup still warm in her hand. This house was supposed to be safe. I'd let a monster inside. That night, Amy kissed me hello like nothing had happened, made dinner, asked about my shift at the hospital. I lied, said it was brutal, said I was exhausted. She rubbed my shoulders, told me I worked too hard, told me she was lucky to have such a dedicated man. After Lily went to bed, I found Amy's phone on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. I knew her passcode. She'd given it to me months ago. I have nothing to hide, babe, and I'd never used it before. Never had a reason to. I opened her messages. There was a thread with someone named Jenna with a purple heart emoji next to the name, her sister. I'd met her once, briefly, at a restaurant. She'd seemed nice, normal. I scrolled up through their conversation and felt my stomach turn. October 3rd. This kid is such a little brat. Honestly, don't know how much longer I can fake being patient, but the dad's loaded, so I'm playing nice. October 10th. She cried today because I wouldn't let her have dessert before dinner. Cried, like actually sobbing. It's pathetic. But Daniel thinks I'm so good with her. LOL. October 17th. Few more months and I'll have him wrapped wrapped around my finger. Then we can talk boarding school. There are places in Connecticut that take kids year-round. Expensive, but worth it to get her out of the picture. October 24th. He actually thanked me tonight for stepping up. I'm stepping up to a trust fund, baby. He has no idea. His wife's life insurance payout? $250,000. Plus the house is paid off. Once we're married, I can finally quit this work-from-home bullshit and just enjoy life. I read every message. Every single one. Amy wasn't just abusing my daughter. She was planning to marry me for money I didn't even have. Sarah's life insurance had gone entirely into Lily's college fund and paying off the mortgage, and then ship Lily off, so she wouldn't be in the way. She'd never loved me. She'd never cared about Lily. We were marks, targets, obstacles to the life she wanted. I took screenshots of everything, uploaded them to the same cloud accounts as the videos. Then I put her phone back exactly where I'd found it and went to brush my teeth like my entire world hadn't just shattered for the second time in 2 years. I didn't sleep that night either. The next morning, Wednesday, I called in sick again. Told Amy I was going to work, parked 2 blocks away, watched the camera feed. Amy was worse this time. Maybe because she was frustrated with Lily. Maybe because she sensed something was off. She grabbed Lily twice before 7:30 a.m., called her worthless, told her that Daniel was getting tired of her, that he'd been complaining about how expensive she was, how difficult. He said he wishes you'd never been born, Amy said, her face inches from Lily's. He told me last night, said his life was easier before you. Lily's face went white. That's not true, Lily whispered. Daddy loves me. Keep telling yourself that, Amy smirked. See what happens. I saved that video too. Thursday, the same. Friday, worse. By Friday night, I had 17 videos spanning 5 days. I had screenshots of 43 separate text messages. I had documentation of physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological manipulation, and financial fraud. And I had a plan. Saturday morning, I took Lily to the pediatrician. Dr. Nina Patel had been Lily's doctor since she was born. She'd delivered the news about Sarah's death with tears in her eyes. She'd checked on us for months afterward. She was kind, thorough, and she didn't miss anything. I need you to document these, I said, showing her Lily's bruises. Dr. Patel's face went hard. How long? At least 6 weeks, maybe longer. She photographed every mark, measured them, wrote detailed notes in Lily's file using phrases like non-accidental trauma and patterned bruising consistent with adult grip. I'm required to report this to CPS, she said. I know, I want you to. She looked at me for a long moment. You have evidence? Yes, good. She squeezed my shoulder. Protect that little girl, Daniel. I am. Monday morning, Joyce Whitman from Child Protective Services came to my house. She was 52, had been doing this work for 19 years, and had the kind of exhausted compassion that comes from seeing too much. I showed her everything, every video, every text message, every photo of Lily's bruises. She watched without expression, taking notes in a leather-bound notebook. When the videos finished, she was quiet for a long time. This is one of the most clear-cut cases I've seen in years, she finally said. Usually it's murky. He said she said. This is, she gestured to my laptop, this is prosecutable. What do I do? You already did it. You documented. You protected your daughter without putting yourself at legal risk. Now we bring in law enforcement. Detective Brandon Keller came to my house Monday afternoon. I'd called him that morning, and he'd cleared his schedule. Brandon was 43, built like a linebacker, had 2 daughters of his own. We'd become friends after Sarah died. He'd been the first responder, had stayed with me while I called my parents, had checked on us for months. He was a good man. He watched the videos with his jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle jumping. I want to arrest her right now, he said quietly. Not yet. He looked at me. Daniel, she's having a birthday party Friday night here. She invited 23 people, her family, her friends, some of my co-workers from the hospital. I met his eyes. I want them all to see who she really is. Brandon was quiet. Then, that's risky. It's calculated. You could lose control of the narrative. She could claim you're mentally unstable, that you're fabricating evidence because she tried to end the relationship. She has 43 text messages detailing her plan to marry me for money and ship my daughter to boarding school. She has 17 videos of her abusing a 7-year-old child. Let her claim I'm unstable. The evidence speaks for itself. Brandon studied me. You're sure about this? She's been hurting my daughter for 6 weeks, maybe longer. She's been sleeping in my bed, eating meals at my table, kissing my daughter goodnight while planning to destroy her life. I kept my voice level. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, he nodded. But I'll have officers outside, just in case she gets violent. Thank you. He stood to leave, then turned back. For what it's worth, you're handling this exactly right. A lot of parents miss the signs. Let the abuse go on for months, years. You caught it. You documented it. You're protecting Lily. After he left, I sat alone in my living room, the same room where Amy had tormented my daughter, and I thought about Sarah. She would have seen through Amy immediately. Sarah had a sixth sense about people, could read them like books. She would have known something was off, would have asked the right questions, would have protected Lily before any of this happened. But Sarah was gone, and I'd been so desperate desperate for help, so lonely, so convinced that I needed someone else to make our family whole, that I'd invited a predator into our home. Never again. Friday came. Amy spent all day decorating. Balloons, streamers. She'd ordered a custom cake from the fancy bakery downtown. 3 tiers, chocolate and raspberry, $240. She'd bought a new red dress, done her hair. She looked beautiful. She was practically glowing. I'm so excited, she told me that morning. Having everyone together, celebrating us, celebrating our family. She'd kissed me. This is everything I've always wanted. I'd smiled and told her I couldn't wait. People started arriving at 7 p.m. Amy's parents, Donald and Patricia, both retired, both beaming with pride at their successful daughter. Amy's sister, Jenna, and her husband. Amy's college friends. 3 of my co-workers from the hospital. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, who'd been bringing us casseroles since Sarah died. Emma and Robert, couple friends of mine and Sarah's who'd stayed close. 23 people total, crammed into our living room, drinking wine, eating appetizers, laughing. Amy worked the room like a politician, hugging everyone, thanking them for coming, showing off the house like it was already hers. Isn't she great with Lily? She said to Mrs. Chen, gesturing to where Lily sat on the stairs, silent and pale. We're like a real family now. Lily looked at me. I winked. She managed a small smile. At 8:15 p.m., after everyone had cake and drinks and the party was in full swing, I stood up and clinked my glass. Hey everyone, can I have your attention? The room quieted. Conversations trailed off. Amy turned to me with that radiant smile, her eyes shining, probably thinking I was about to propose. I just want to say something about Amy, I said, keeping my voice warm, friendly. She's been wonderful these past 6 months, so caring, so patient, especially with Lily. Amy's smile got wider. She pressed her hand to her chest like she was overwhelmed with emotion. In fact, I continued, pulling out my phone, I wanted to show everyone just how caring she is, how she treats Lily when I'm not around. I connected my phone to the TV. The first video started playing. Amy's voice filled the room, sharp and cold. Hurry up, you're so slow. No wonder your dad's always stressed. Having a kid like you would make anyone exhausted. The image showed Lily at the table, frozen with her spoon halfway to her mouth, tears starting. Then Amy's hand entering the frame, grabbing Lily's arm. You could see Lily wince and yanking her toward the sink. Wash your bowl, now, and stop making that face or I'll give you something to actually cry about. The room went absolutely silent. Amy's face drained of all color. That's not— Wait, I played the next clip. Amy calling Lily stupid. Amy locking her in the bathroom. Amy leaning close to Lily's face and hissing, your dad wishes you'd never been born. He told me last night, said his life was easier before you. Stop it! Amy lunged for the TV. I switched to the screenshots of her text messages, blown up on the 65-inch screen for everyone to read. This kid is such a little brat, but the dad's loaded, so I'm playing nice. Few more months and I'll have him wrapped around my finger. Then we can talk boarding school. Once we're married, I can finally quit this work-from-home bullshit and just enjoy life. Amy's mother gasped. Her hand flew to her mouth. Amy's father stood up, his face purple with rage. Amy, what the hell? He's lying. Amy's voice was shrill now, panicked. He doctored those videos. He's trying to frame me because I tried to break up with him and he couldn't handle it. I have 17 videos spanning 5 days, I said calmly. Time-stamped, cloud-stored with metadata intact. I have 43 text messages with your sister Jenna discussing your plan. And I have medical documentation from Dr. Nina Patel showing the bruises you left on my daughter's arms. I pulled up the photos Dr. Patel had taken. Lily's small arm covered in purple fingerprints. Close-ups showing the precise pattern of adult grip marks. I also filed a police report Monday morning with Detective Brandon Keller from the Special Victims Unit, I continued, and a CPS report with Joyce Whitman, both of whom reviewed all evidence and confirmed it meets the threshold for criminal prosecution. Amy looked around the room wildly. Every single person was staring at her with expressions ranging from horror to disgust. Emma, who'd known Sarah, had tears streaming down her face. My co-worker David looked sick. Mrs. Chen had her arm around Lily, who'd come down from the stairs and was pressed against her side. This is insane, Amy said, but her voice was shaking now. You're all believing his lies? I've been nothing but good to that kid. You told her that her mother left because she was too much trouble, I said quietly. You told a 7-year-old child that I wished she'd never been born. You grabbed her hard enough to leave bruises. You called her stupid, worthless, pathetic. You locked her in bathrooms. And you did all of this while planning to marry me for money that doesn't exist and ship her to boarding school so she wouldn't be in the way. I have video evidence, I said. Would you like me to play more? She stared at me, and for the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. Get out, I said softly. This is my party. This is my house. And that's my daughter you've been torturing. Get out. Amy looked at her parents. Her father was shaking his head, his face still purple. Her mother was crying quietly. quietly. "Don't look at us," her father said. "You heard him. Get out." Amy grabbed her purse from the couch, her hands shaking. She tried to walk toward the door with some dignity, her head high, but she stumbled in her heels. Nobody helped her. At the door, she turned back. Her makeup was smeared now, her carefully styled hair coming loose. "You'll regret this," she said, her voice raw with rage. "I'll sue you for defamation. I'll ruin you. The front door opened. Detective Brandon Keller stepped inside, still in his plain clothes, but with his badge visible on his belt. Behind him, I could see a patrol car in my driveway. "Amy Dawson," Brandon said, "we need to have a conversation about some allegations of child abuse." Amy's face went white. "I want a lawyer." "That's your right." Brandon gestured to the patrol car. "But first, we're going to the station." She looked at me one last time. The woman I'd kissed goodbye that morning. The woman who'd slept in my bed. The woman I'd thought was going to help heal my broken family. "I hope you're happy," she said. I knelt down and pulled Lily close. She wrapped her arms around my neck and held on tight. "Is she really gone, Daddy?" Lily whispered. I looked at Amy being escorted to the patrol car, at the room full of witnesses who'd seen exactly who she was, at the phone in my pocket containing 17 videos and 43 text messages that would follow her for the rest of her life. "She's gone, baby," I said, "and she's never ever coming back." The room was silent, except for Lily's quiet breathing against my shoulder. Amy's parents left without saying goodbye to her. Her sister Jenna stopped on her way out, her face tear-streaked. "I'm sorry," she said to me. The text messages. I should have known they weren't jokes. I should have reported her." "You know now," I said. "After everyone left, it was just Lily and me and Mrs. Chen who stayed to help clean up even though I told her she didn't have to. Your Sarah would be proud," Mrs. Chen said quietly, putting away dishes. "You protected your baby." "I almost didn't," I said. "I almost missed it." "But you didn't," she squeezed my shoulder. "That's what matters." 3 weeks later, Amy was formally charged with multiple counts of child abuse, battery, and false imprisonment. The videos were entered as evidence. The text messages were entered as evidence. Dr. Patel's medical report was entered as evidence. Amy's lawyer tried to argue that I'd doctored the videos, but forensic analysis confirmed they were authentic, unaltered, with verified metadata. He tried to argue that Amy had been under unusual stress and lacked experience with children. The prosecutor pulled up her resume, which listed extensive experience with child development from her psychology degree. The prosecutor, Catherine Miles, was a 38-year-old former defense attorney who'd switched sides after her nephew was abused by a babysitter. She was relentless. "Ms. Dawson didn't lack experience," Catherine said in court. "She lacked conscience. She systematically abused a child in her care while manipulating that child's father for financial gain. This wasn't stress. It was calculated cruelty." Amy took a plea deal: 2 years in county jail, 5 years probation, mandatory anger management and psychological evaluation, permanent record, no contact with minors without supervision for 10 years. She'd serve 18 months with good behavior. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough, but it was something. 6 months after Amy was sentenced, Lily and I went back to Dr. Patel for a follow-up. "How's she doing?" Dr. Patel asked me quietly while Lily played with toys in the waiting room. "Better. She's seeing a therapist, Graham Winters, over at Fairview Counseling. He specializes in childhood trauma. She has nightmares sometimes, asks a lot of questions about whether people are really who they say they are, but she's healing." "And you?" I thought about that, about the guilt I carried for not seeing it sooner, about the anger that still flared up sometimes when I thought about those videos, about Lily's bruises, about the way Amy had smiled at me while planning to destroy my daughter's life. "I'm working on it," I said. "I'm in therapy too, and I'm more careful now, about who I let into our lives, about trusting my gut, about listening when Lily tells me something's wrong. That's all you can do." A year after Amy's sentencing, Lily and I were having breakfast on a Saturday morning. Pancakes, her favorite. She was chattering about her friend's birthday party that afternoon, about a book she was reading, about how her teacher said she was the best reader in her class. She seemed happy, light, like maybe the weight of what had happened was finally lifting. "Daddy?" she said suddenly. "Yeah, baby? Do you think you'll ever have another girlfriend?" I looked at my daughter across the table, at her dark hair that looked so much like Sarah's, at her eyes that were all mine, at the scar on her arm that was fading, but would probably never fully disappear. "Maybe someday," I said, "but not for a long time. And when I do, you'll have veto power." "What's veto power?" "It means if you don't like someone, if something feels wrong, if you're uncomfortable in any way, that person doesn't get to be in our life, no matter how much I might like them. You and me, we're a package deal. Anyone who wants to be with me has to be good to you, and if they're not, they're gone." Lily thought about that, twirling her fork through syrup patterns on her plate. "Okay," she said finally. "That sounds fair. You're the most important person in my life," I told her. "You always have been, and I'm sorry I didn't protect you fast enough." "You did protect me, though," though, Lily said. You believed me. You recorded the videos. You made everyone see. That's protecting me, right? Yeah, baby, that's protecting you. She smiled, the same smile Sarah used to give me when I was overthinking something, and went back to her pancakes. I sat there watching her, my daughter, who'd been through hell and was somehow still capable of smiling over pancakes on a Saturday morning, and I thought about all the ways I'd failed and all the ways I'd succeeded, and how sometimes protection means having the courage to see the truth, even when it destroys the life you thought you were building. Amy's birthday party had been humiliating for her. The videos had been damning. The conviction had been justice. But this, sitting here with Lily, watching her heal, knowing she felt safe again, this was the real victory. She was safe now. That's all that mattered. That's all that had ever mattered.